Wings from Greek Village?
I only used to get the pizza sub.
I just to get the sub. I ain't never had no wings from Greek Village.
Yeah, I never tasted the wings. The
The
world
subs though,
sub though.
Is Greek Village still open?
yeah, it's open. I still probably ain't had Greek Village in about. It got to be a good 15.
Been a minute.
Give me some of them wings.
Is
Uh,
Semi
Also,
still
put the
open?
ketchup on your fry.
yeah, semi open.
Yeah, semi still open. Semi ain't never going out of business.
Nah, they tried. Well, I don't know. They tried to get They tried to get semi out of there.
They did?
Yeah, they was trying to blame him for all the crime and shit that was going on over there.
That's sad, yo.
Yeah, they was trying to say he was he bringing the riffraff over there, but people
Because he was
equal.
overly.
Yeah, but people equal that the Wawa that shit 24 hours.
Right.
So
She used to be
Mike, they,
jamming back
they
in the
built a
day.
Royal Farms across the street from your house.
yeah, I know that
Right.
shit, nigga. That shit gonna be done in like 2 days, as fast as they moving over there.
They
You
built a
can't
roll
front.
farms?
Yeah, right
Yeah,
across the street in front of the houses on the other side.
Oh snap! Okay.
I can't front, man. Royal Farms, they used to have better chicken than the Colonel and Popeyes. I
they,
can't.
they
Just
might
for that.
they might still have better chicken than that. I think
The Popeyes?
Royal,
yeah,
that Royal Farms I haven't had it in a minute, but it
Royal
was it
Farms
was
chicken
really good.
is banging.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
yo, when last time you had Royal Farms chicken?
the last time I had Royal Farms chicken was when y'all was we came over to the old spot, and I bought some chicken over there. You probably don't remember that was a while back. It was still summertime, and we mashed the chicken up too. PJ ate the biscuit, but
You got the
What?
you got the potato wedges too.
shit, I got the wedges too.
You can't. Royal Farms that chicken.
It was good.
Yo said
It
I ate
is
the
good.
biscuit. I know I ain't. If it ain't a Bowberry biscuit, I don't really
It was,
want
a,
it.
it, it was a roll. Man.
They got a roll. Royal Farms get a roll.
Yeah, it was a roll.
Yeah, the roll.
Yeah, they do a
Oh,
dinner roll joint.
Yeah,
I can't do Popeyes biscuits. Them joints is mad dry.
you gotta get them when they fresh.
yeah. Going back in the oven.
Yo, Peachy, tell your Popeye story real quick, yo. I know it's one. I don't even care which one. Tell one, yo. You got so many when
Um.
you pulled up, they ain't even had chicken or they have something.
Well, okay. There's that one. That was the one on 40. It was like, I don't know, maybe like a Saturday or something. I don't know. It was a day during lunchtime where you need to have chicken. If there's any other time you need to have chicken, it's right now. And you go in and they're like, "No, we ain't got no more chicken." What you mean you don't got no more chicken? Then there was one time went to a Popeyes and there was a young lady behind the register. And I was like, "Yeah, let me get 2 spicy breasts." She was like, "Okay, so you want 2 spicy titties?" I was like, yeah, I guess." It caught me off guard. Like I didn't, and I mean, with the top of it all, my dad was standing right there, and it didn't phase him either. He just went on with his order. He was like, "Oh yeah, let me get 3 piece." I'm like, "Dad, did you hear what she said?" He was like, "Yeah," but it didn't phase him. I was like, "All right." And then I guess Popeyes was my first job. And
What about the one, yo? You said it was one in the city, and you was
what?
going through the drive-through or something, and I think it might have been doing the chicken sandwich craze. And you said something
Oh
happened.
no, that was the one on Howard Street. I stopped going to that one. There's certain Popeyes you can't go to because like the people there, they don't want to work there. Why you apply there if you don't want to work there? It's not my fault that you working. Like, yo, if you don't want to work, do something else. Like, but they act like, yo, you got my order wrong. And you mad at me. I don't understand that. Where's the logic, yo? I ordered like a 3-piece and like two breasts and a thigh. That's usually what I get. I usually, I get the spicy breast. I opened the thing and it had like 2 wings and a leg. I'm like, yo, this ain't what the fuck I ordered. And she got mad at me. Then they gave me the correct pieces of chicken, but didn't give me a side. I was like, yo, I got fries with this. You starting to get on my nerves. I'm like, all right. All right, yo.
Yo, you had bad run-ins, yo.
It's behavior like that. Why you should go to Chick-fil-A?
my pleasure.
Yeah, I haven't been to a Chick-fil-A yet where you go in and you're like, yo, the service here is terrible. Like it's like the same everywhere you go.
Not one, yeah.
Yeah, like can you like even think, have you ever been to a Chick-fil-A and you ever seen an outright like a wild customer?
Never.
Wild out. I can't.
It's a behavioral thing.
I almost did. I can't front. One dude, yo, some people be trying to take advantage of people's kindness, yo. They be trying to like skip lines and do all like, yo, I don't like that, yo. I don't like that. I don't like that. And in this particular case, it was like, yo, Chick-fil-A's, they stay packed. So like sometimes it's hard to just get a damn parking spot, depending on what locations you go to. And I was waiting for a dude to back out for this spot. I waited for like 10 minutes. He pulled off some privileged guy, speeds through and takes the spot. And yo, I almost lost it, yo. I almost lost it. Like I had Junior with me too. I had to calm down. I went inside. And I wanted to say something to him so bad, Joe. I wanted to say something to him so bad. And I just one lady could see me like boiling. She saw like the whole thing. And she saw me boiling. She came up to me. She was like, I commend you for not going over there because I can see that you're struggling with this right now. And what he did was just very inappropriate. And I was like, yo, I guess she could see the anger in my face, yo.
I think you had Jordan there. I think you had Jordan with you too. I think you told me about that.
I might have, yo. It takes a lot to piss me off, but for whatever reason, that shit had me boiling.
All right, go ahead, Smalls. Kick it off.
I mean, you've been recording. Let's just keep rolling.
All right, I'll stop eating now. Hi, welcome to Off the Record Podcast.
All right. It's so hard to do.
Here, this will help you. This will help you get started, bro. This will help you get started. Let me see.
What up? Welcome to Off the Record. We got all 4 of the guys in the house, Mike, Brandon, Quan, and myself, Alex. We decided today to reflect on these last couple years that we've been in since the pandemic has been a pandemic. And while, most people consider March 2020 as the kickoff point for COVID, there are many people that reported symptoms as far back as November and December of 2019. So it's been a wild 2 years. We like to do these check-ins from time to time about the pandemic. So today we're just going to kind of talk about how we're all feeling, where we're at with this, just how we can reflect on it personally. And so I'll leave it to each person to kind of share their own space of where they're at mentally. But feel free to not all run to the podium at once.
I guess.
Who wants to jump off?
Why don't you pop it off, Quan? How has COVID been treating you, Quan?
As of right now, it isn't good. Yeah, I've been feeling some symptoms lately. So Yeah, so I got to go get looked at and go get tested and everything. But for the most part, I mean, I'm good. I'm here, but I have been feeling a little bit of the symptoms lately. Well, we've been in it 2 years now.
Yeah, man. How's your mental health? That's what we.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, man, my mental health is all right. It's good. I've had some ups and some downs within these 2 years, of course, or within this year. Mentally, a lot of great things, a lot of things that I've had to, persevere through. A lot of things that I've had to like look in within myself. A lot of relationship building, a lot of building with family, friends, and spiritually building within myself, and just things that I've been trying to do just to get better with mentally. So I mean, it's like I said, you had some ups and some downs, man. But overall, it's been a blessed year. But it's been a real blessed year. And shit, for the most part, man, you just only thing I can really do is just take it day by day and keep doing what I'm doing, man. And but ultimately, like I said, I'm all right. I got a chance to see my son play football for the first time. That was a highlight. That was really, really something that was dear to me. Being able to be there with him and see him grow and be a part of that, and be able to see him gain friends, and being able to see him play week by week and get better week by week. That was a lot. That was good. It was, at the same time, it was challenging because I was working with two teams. So I was coaching on his team, and then I was coaching on the team that I've had. We've been working with since our boys were like 5, 6, and so yeah, it was challenging, man. It was challenging. Every Saturday, I mean Monday through Saturday was a grind, football wise, and Saturdays all day was nothing but football.
Yeah, you working from home now. How's that? How you dealing with that? You've been working from home for a while, but how you been dealing with that during the pandemic?
It's new. It's something new, especially when you've been in a situation where all you ever done is work on site.
So you might need to make some tea, Nick.
Take your time, bro. Take your time.
Man, let me sip on some of this.
Man, hurry up and sip your water.
we gonna edit that out. But
we ain't come here to watch you sip no water.
Yeah, man. But yeah, working wise remote, I've had to learn a lot, not being on site. But it's been good, man. It's been all right. I learned a new, somewhat of a new trade, I guess. But just like I remember everybody saying before then, like, yo, you could do everything that you want to pretty much at home. Like if you're at work, you can do everything you need to at home. All you need to have is your Wi-Fi connection and your laptop, and you can pretty much do anything you need to do work related. So yeah, man. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say, I think for most people, it's just trying to stay disciplined. Because like you said, you got Wi-Fi, you got this, you got that. You might turn on Netflix in the background or something, and then the day just becomes unproductive. I don't know. I kind of find that I do. I think I do more work now working from home.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. People that work from home end up doing more work.
I can feel that shit too.
In the office.
I can feel like in my back, my neck, I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, it's the way you sit, the way, like your chair and everything, and then you always typing, doing some type of work on the computer, and like it never stops. You know what I mean? And the only time it really stops is to when like you take a break or after work.
So. Yeah, man. Even though like the height at which you have your mouse and everything, that even affects how it feels in the shoulder. Like after a while, man. Get out and exercise. What's that? Oh yeah, I got
a trackball.
I don't have the ball, but I've got the sleek designed mouse. I've got the 2000. You got the 3000.
It changed my life. I would encourage everybody to get one.
Well, while we on the working from home tip, Alex, you probably you and Brandon have probably worked from home the longest, around the same. But so how is it now? I know you in the office a little more as of now, but do you feel like you do more work from home than you would in an office? Do you agree with that whole, you know, notion of working from home, or would you rather work from home? And this goes for all of you guys that work from home. I don't, but would you rather work from home than in the office?
Hell yeah.
Sans COVID, you know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
I think I like having the option. And I worked from home before the pandemic happened. So working from home has just kind of been a part of my normal, life. But I noticed during the pandemic that I was having back problems. I spent more time at my computer, not just for leisure, but you just in front of your computer all day for work stuff. And the line between working and like leisure was really blurred. So um, I go in the office sometimes 5 days a week now. I'm in. Um, I have a private office. If I didn't have a private office, I wouldn't go in at all. But that helps. I think for me, it helps one just get out the house because I don't do anything anyway. So to get out the house, it's helpful. I think it gives me and my wife some space because she works from home too, so she can have the house to herself while I'm out or whatever. So I think just having the option, I think is important for everybody who has jobs that allow them to be able to just have a Wi-Fi connection and work from home.
Bro, I don't have to work in person. Like I was working from home before the pandemic as well, and yeah, bro, that's like a must-have now. Like I don't know. I mean, I could go back into the office if I had to, but that's so much time. I was doing so much commuting back and forth from DC. Um, it's even with the MARC train and all of that, not having to drive, it's still that part I do miss. I was getting exercise like every day. Living in Baltimore, just walk to the MARC train, take that to DC, and then I would walk from Penn Station to the office, which was like a mile or whatever. And then I'd do it coming back home. So I was getting a lot more exercise. But other than that, bruh, yeah, I don't never have to see another office again if I don't have to. And I would, hey, look, I do just fine. I just turned on my laptop camera for the first time, like yesterday, during a meeting, because the presenter asked us to. It was a small group. She just wanted to see our faces. I was a little annoyed by it, but I mean, okay, hey, how you doing?
What about you? What about you, Quan? I mean, I know this working from home thing is new for you. Would you prefer to work from home, or do you prefer the in person being in an office setting?
I rather prefer maybe having the option. I most like a hybrid option. Maybe go in 2 days out the week, 3 days, stay home, or whatever way I can have it. Because a lot of times when you're at home, I guess it's good. You get a chance to kind of be in your own. You mean you're in your own vicinity. You're somewhat in your own world, and you just get your work done and you do what you got to do. But then it's also good sometimes to kind of get out. You get that fresh air. Kind of go to the office a little bit. Not a little bit. But you kind of you go to the office. You sit down. You kind of socialize a little bit with people that you work with. If you want to go out get a bite to eat or something, or just take a walk. Just clear your mind. You can do those things. I mean, you can do those things here too at home. You go take a walk or whatever, and or go down the street. Do whatever you need to do. But then sometimes you want to kind of flip flop it a little bit. For me, I think I would want to flip flop a little bit, go in the office. But then if it's like if I have those times where I can just telework and just be remote, then yeah, I'd rather just be remote.
All right. So my next question for y'all, since we are on, we doing our mental health check-in for the end of the year, but end of the second year of dealing with COVID. So let me ask you guys this. Working from home. I've heard some people say like the fact that due to the pandemic they were forced to work from home, that it kind of took away, you know, it kind of took away that calm. Like, when you get to leave work at work and come home and that's your space to relax. So working from home, how does it, does it help your mental health? Is it a negative effect on your mental health? Do you feel like you don't ever get away from work because naturally, well, basically your your office is at home now. You know what I mean? So do you feel like, that reprieve from work is taken away from you because you're actually doing it where you typically get your peace from?
Yeah, I like working from home, but I think I realized that it was invading my personal space. So this is my home office, but in this office, there's Lakers stuff all over this wall that you can't see. There's things that I love behind me, like whiskey and sneakers and a PS5 and a TV. Like, this is like my sanctuary. Like, I'd come home from work, come in here and play video games, just hang out, have a drink, chill. What I realized was spending 10 hours a day in here on my computer working didn't make this room feel as fun as it's supposed to feel. It completely took away from it. So I realized that, like, I needed to get, it's helpful for me to get out the house more now than it was before.
Brandon, I'm assuming that you like whatever. I don't care.
It's an adjustment I'm willing to make. I know. Well, at my old place, I had a separate room just for my office, so I could just, close the door. I'm not good. Once I'm done with work, I could close the door, whatever. I don't know. Usually, there is something like I have to do right after work to kind of solidify that line. That it is kind of blurry because I don't do it so much now because I'm on a project where they're very strict about, the times that you're clocking in or whatever. And so you have to be very specific with the time that you report. So I'll work to the T. As soon as it hit 8 hours, boom, I'm done. Where on other projects, it's like, I want to get something done. So I might just sit here and just keep working. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I'm in a position now where I'm like learning. And so I don't actually mind it too much. It's probably what I'd probably be, studying up on it if I wasn't working anyway. So to me, it's like I'm getting the hands on. But I don't know. It's like, I think you have to have like a ritual or something that you do right when you get off work to kind of separate it, whether it's, as soon as I get off work here, if you're in the 2K, sometimes I just might immediately play a game of 2K and then go about my day after that. At that point, I ain't even thinking about work. Or I might go for a walk. Or I'm trying to get my ass up and go to the gym. As soon as it, just cut it off right then and there. It really depends on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's harder to do it for some projects and some jobs than it is for others. But like I said, that's something I'm willing to deal with. As long as I can continue to work from home, I won't complain about it. I'll come up with something.
What about you, Battle? Like, do you feel, since you're working from home, that you kind of losing your safe space, your place where you come to do your woosah? Do you feel like you've lost that, or have you taken the advice of like Brandon and some of the steps he does to kind of separate the two?
That's a good question. I never really thought about it from that perspective, but like looking at it like after I finish work, and then it takes away the space of, my safe haven. I haven't even looked at it like that, honestly. I've just been like, I guess it's all in one. Work, safe haven, space, relax, zen. But yeah, also finding something to do after work is very helpful. Whether that may be, like you said, playing the game or going to the gym, or going out and doing something, some type of recreation, read a book. Go, be with family, be with people, your friends, who you love or whatever. Things like that are gonna like help your mental, and that's gonna, push you up, whatever. Um, so I mean, yeah, I guess that. I mean, that's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just like you said, finding those avenues to where you can release what you've gone through from the whole 9 to 5, that whole 8 hours, and then being able to get back to your normal life, your day, your normal day in and day out life. So finding that balance.
Yeah, I mean, all good answers. I mean, I don't, I am what they call essential employee. I think that everybody that's working right now are essential in one way or another. But
Mike,
my
does it piss you off that people get to work from home but you don't?
sometimes,
Why does why, why
sometimes.
does why does it piss you off?
I mean, only because like I just don't feel like going.
Right.
And I'd rather, but it really, I mean, the hardest part was like, especially when this first kicked off, right? Going back 2 years ago now, like, I mean, shit, nobody knew. Every day we were learning something new.
Somebody knew. Okay, somebody knew.
Well. Let me go back and say, uh, our yearly shout out to Alex, who
We were at Quan's table, and I told y'all when I brought over my own paper towels, y'all laughed at me.
this was February. This was in February of 20. What was that? The 19
Yeah, 2019.
or
No,
2020?
20,
2020.
2020, February
2020.
2020.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, my bad, my
Right,
bad.
2020. It was around sometime in February, and Alex was bringing his own hand sanitizer, his own paper towels,
Had
his
to.
own. I think he might even have pulled his own cup out of his bag, so he had to use.
Yeah, I definitely had him in. I had him in the big Ziploc joint.
You had the Ziploc bag. He was telling us like, "Yo, this shit about to pop off," and the rest of us was kind of laughing at him like, "Yo, you tripping? Like this shit'll be 2 weeks. We all right." And 2 years later, we're still here. So shout out to Alex. I mean,
Trump said it would be over by Easter.
yeah. Well,
He did
I
say
mean,
that.
Trump also said take a shot of Clorox bleach and you'll be all right.
My
So
And some
God.
people did, I think.
yeah, yeah. So anyway. So yeah, I mean, those moments were scary. At that time, I had a 1 year old. Like, I'm not trying to bring nothing home to my family. So going out, this is around the time when I mean, you were strapping up just to walk out the door. You know what I mean? You ain't know if the shit could land on your skin. You ain't know. You ain't know.
You step outside and be like, ah,
Yeah,
ah!
you ain't know what was going on. So
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I was a little pissed off that I had to, do what I had to do. But then on the flip side, like I don't think that I would be as productive working from home. Sometimes I would feel like I would probably bullshit. Now, if my employer ever gives me a shot to work from home, or if it ever happens, listen, don't pay attention to this. I'll be as productive as you need me to be. But I don't think I
Right.
would I don't think I would get much done at home. So it's that double edged sword. But sometimes I'll be like, man, fuck, shit. I want to just roll over and turn my laptop on, but I can't.
Yeah, if it's something that you don't want to do, you're not going to be productive. But if you like into whatever it is that you're doing, you're probably going to put in more work working from home.
So all right, well, 2 years later, where are we at? Yo? Like, where we at? What do you like? Are you more comfortable now? This is the question I'm
Oh
about to ask
god.
you. This is an odd time. This is an odd point in time to ask this question right now because I mean things are spiking right now again, and it almost has a feel of the beginning of this shit 2 years ago, right? But with what you've learned over the last 2 years dealing with this, are you more comfortable now than you were 2 years ago? Are you still like, yo, fuck this shit? I ain't letting up. I don't trust it. Like, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
You want me to go? I feel like I've said a lot already.
Now you got it.
I mean, this is life. This is what life is going to be like. This is what I was talking about earlier. They've already said the disease cannot, it won't be eradicated. So uh, we're going to have to learn, or we have to continue to cope with it. And y'all already know how I feel about vaccines. But it's one thing is a fact. It's big money now. This is a big money industry. So hopefully that competitive drive will drive these people to come up with a secret serum that actually well, that works better. I'll say that. I'll say that. But I mean, this is what it's going to be. Soon they're going to require adults to get the hepatitis vaccine. That's coming. And I mean, it's it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I think because the world is in the country is well, I'll say the country is really so divided on it. It's like everything else. It makes it a little bit hard to cope with because it's like everywhere you turn, somebody's commenting on it, somebody's yelling at somebody about it. I don't know. Everybody's treating it differently, so it's going to be around. It's going to be around.
What about you, Alex? Like, I mean, like we just said, you buckled down from day one. So, I mean, how are you feeling right now, 2 years later, or 2 years into this thing? Like, I mean, you feel any better about it? You still hunkered down, or you still got your guard up, or you let it down a little bit? Like, how are you feeling about this thing 2 years ago? From two
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
mean, I'm more comfortable than I was 2 years ago, but my guard is still up. I don't trust anybody. Ain't nothing personal. I just don't trust nobody. Like I saw my niece for the first time over the course of the pandemic, and I had to keep my mask on. Like I would have loved for her to see my face, but these are the times that we're in, and so you know, I was thinking today about the Spanish flu and how that ravaged the country all those years ago, and eventually it did go away, or got to a point where it wasn't a thing anymore. Of course, that takes years, and it seems like this is going to take years, and there's a tug of war between what you should do or shouldn't do. And I'm a big believer in personal choice, except your personal choice doesn't have a right to endanger anybody else. Like you're not allowed to drive a car drunk because you can kill somebody else. You want to drive off a bridge on your own, that's on you. But you can't impact somebody else. So I am certainly more comfortable than I ever was. I mean, I wouldn't allow anybody in my house this time a year ago. It didn't matter who you were, unless your name was Jesus, Shanae, or Alex. You weren't coming up in this house. That was it. And so I've come a long way since then, but you know, I'm still cautious. When I hear family or friends catch it, it's like, all right, I want them to get the best care and have the best health and maybe not suffer any symptoms. But my first thing is, okay, when was I last around them? Like I have to protect these four walls. And sometimes that might sound cruel, but like that's just the reality, man. I think the other day I went to see my grandfather. He's in an assisted living facility. So I go in, and like even then I hadn't seen him in a few months, and like he was sitting in the cafeteria with the other folks that live there, and like I walked in and they asked me to wait because they were eating. So I saw him and like I waved to him, but he's not in the best place mentally anymore. So I waved to him, but like I couldn't even pull my mask down so he could recognize who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I thought about all those older people who were in there that, you know, shit, they're more at risk than anybody. And it's just like, this is really the world we live in now. And I still believe a lot of this could have been prevented had we had a better president, had we had better governors and mayors, and, you know, people stop crying about their civil liberties being trampled on. Like, I was reading a comment the other day. Someone posted something on LinkedIn, and one of the it was about COVID. One of the comments were they feel like people are just like struggling because they've had to be in for 2 years. And I sat back for a second and I said, at any point since March 2020, has anyone made you stay in your house? Has the government made you stay in your house? Has the military been on the streets? Has anyone been arrested for going outside their house? People have still done whatever they wanted to do since March 2020. So the idea that you're stressed out, of course, I think that part is fair. But the idea that like you couldn't do what you wanted, that's all. That's what America's about, right? You can do whatever you want, despite the repercussions, despite how it impacts somebody else. So I'm in a much better place than I was this time last year. But still got to be cautious. I don't want to get sick. I don't want my wife to get sick. I don't want anyone around me to get sick. So, I'm vaccinated. There's a booster out there. I have to make a decision if I want to get a booster or not at some point. But like, I still wear a mask in the office. Most of the people in the office don't. If anything, put on a mask. Damn. I mean, you won't get if you're afraid of vaccines and you're afraid of what side effects they may have. I mean, we put a lot of things in our bodies that have a lot of side effects. Stuff that grows in the ground has side effects. Tylenol has side effects. So if you're afraid of side effects, then whatever. But at least put a mask on. At the very least, put a mask on. An N95 at that. Not some joint you knitted, not some old socks, not a thong, not none of the nonsense that we see people putting on their faces when they're traveling. Put a real mask on, man. At least do that.
And step back.
Yeah, what happened to the 6 feet? Like that went away, right? Like
people have an undying need to just stand, to be close to each other. It's like they can't help it, They can't help it.
Pull your mask up, shorty.
Ugh.
Shout out to Brandon Scott. So, all right. So you said some things, man, that I mean, I wanna go a little deeper into, right? This is an episode on checking mental health. Like, yo, you said, you saw your niece for the first time in a minute. You had to keep your mask on. You would have loved for her to see your face. You went to visit your grandfather. He was sitting there. They told you to hold up. You waved to him. You couldn't even drop your mask so that he would recognize you. Like, mentally, how are these things affecting us all? You know what I mean? Like the four of us, how are having to be this cautious around family, not being able to, freely hang around. I mean, you can't now. When I say freely, you are able to do whatever you want, as you alluded to, Alex. But like, we're not able to hang around family without this thought in the back of our head, like, yo, I hope that none of us here gets this, or it's a possibility that we could get it because we all congregated here. Like, how has that affected you guys' mental health? Since this is kind of the new way of living for us.
The only reason this is hard for people is because even when people caught like a cold or the flu, they were still going to work, still go out, still party, still just be around other people. People didn't even take time off just to get healthy from things that were pre-pandemic. And so it's hard for people to even step back when maybe there's something as serious as COVID going around. It's not easy. I mean, I don't think it's easy for anybody not to be able to be around friends and family freely. My grandmother-in-law, who I love, I genuinely love this woman. We went to see her Christmas Eve. She's 81 years old, I think. And like I don't hug anybody. Like I hug my niece. I hadn't seen her in 2 years. I pretty much don't hug anybody other than Shanae. But I went in to hug my grandmother-in-law. And she takes COVID very seriously. And she was like, she was like, hold up. And she dapped me up. Seriously. That's what she did. She dapped like, and she's right. Like, yo, she's in her 80s. She doesn't know where I've been. Even if she thinks that we're safe or not, she can't take that risk. And that's fair enough. But like, I mean, this is what it is. The sooner we accept what it is, the sooner we can get out of what it is. We keep doing a tug of war. We're never going to get out of this.
So understanding, identifying it, and then finding the solution to better the situation.
Solution is people regularly go to the doctor. When you think you even have the sniffles, stay your butt home from work. Like, wash your hands, because as we all know, that was a big thing, right? Like, fecal matter seems to be everywhere. Like, people just aren't washing their hands. Like, that's disgusting. COVID or no COVID, like, people just aren't clean.
Wash your ass too. Don't forget to wash your ass.
If it wasn't COVID, something was going to happen because people are dirty.
People still aren't washing their hands. I've been in public bathrooms where the mug just walks out.
You know what it is, yo?
People ain't washing their hands or their asses.
people have bought into, because I work around someone that does this, right? They go in the bathroom and they come out, they don't wash their hands, but they run to the hand sanitizer. Like, people have bought in the hand sanitizer being you washing your hands, and to me, that shit don't count.
Sanitizers, if you can't wash your hands, you use sanitizer. But I wash my hands and still use sanitizer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, coming out of the bathroom,
soap and water, use soap and water.
Right, coming out of the bathroom, you supposed to wash your damn hands
for 20 seconds. Not that run your fingers under the water a little bit and run out. 20 seconds, scrubbing in between the crevices.
I feel like hand sanitizing is, I just came out the grocery store and ain't no soap and water here, so let me clean my hands with hand sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Coming out of the bathroom, it just feels odd to me. Like, yo, you supposed to wash your damn hands with soap and water,
and use a paper towel to open up the bathroom door. Don't wash your hands and then open the bathroom door.
Yeah,
that's hand sanitizer is not supposed to substitute soap and water. You're supposed to use it. Wash your hands, dry them off, then put on hand sanitizer. But yeah, if you're out and you just put on hand sanitizer, I guess to try to minimize whatever germs you might have on your hand, but you're also, without washing the germs off, you're also just rubbing them around in circles on your hands. So I mean, shit, wash your damn hands.
So, but
there are people that get drunk off a hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I've seen an episode of
people drink hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
They do that with mouthwash too.
Yeah, you can do it with mouthwash too.
Oh, wait, isn't that? I thought it's poisonous.
No, it's
alcohol is poisonous too.
Yeah, it's alcohol.
Hand sanitizer, like someone just cracking open a bottle of like
guzzling it like it's a fifth.
Yeah. I gotta see that.
I seen that on the episode of
My Strains of on Intervention.
Intervention, yes.
Yep. She was filling the vodka bottles with the joint with the hand sanitizer.
Yeah, it was a shorty too that was in the hospital because she got, she was so sick because she was drunk or whatever. And obviously she can't get no alcohol in the damn hospital. Well, she looked over and seen a bottle of hand sanitizer and went to work on the hand sanitizer.
Yep.
Because there's alcohol in it. So, yeah.
That's just poisonous, yo.
I mean,
like,
it's, hey.
Wow.
What can I say? But, I want to get Brandon, you and Quan, like, how do y'all feel about how has it affected you guys mentally? The fact that you got to be extra cautious around family members. The two of you got kids, you know what I mean? So, how has that affected you guys that you just got to take that extra step nowadays when you spending time with loved ones?
Something to where you never, one of the things I remember when I was in school, I remember this when I was maybe like in middle school, learning about like not the first, but I'm learning about one of the pandemics the world faced. And that was like the early 1900s. And I never forget that, right? And I never forget, like, remember seeing like pictures of people having like masks on. And like for us to actually witness it and actually to go through it, our own like pandemic, it puts a lot of things into like perspective of like family, loved ones, and cherishing the particular times that you have with family and friends, and making sure that like, you are like clean and you are healthy and you are like practicing the right things around your folks and family, and having those times and memories and things. So for me, I mean, it's honestly, man, it's shown that like you do have to cherish the times that you're with. You know what I mean? You got to cherish those times. You gotta be able to bask in those times. You got to be able to whatever. I know we all go through things. I know everybody have differences or opinions and all this other stuff and all these other things with family, and this person may feel this way, but at the end of the day, like we've all seen what this pandemic has done to us all. You know what I mean? Like mentally, physically, everything. So I don't know. For me, like I said, it's just making sure that I have those good times with family. That having those good times with relations, with friends, and making sure that fostering like positive and proper relationships are like at the forefront. So it's just like I said, it's been a lot. We've seen a lot. I mean, now we're number one in the U.S. I mean, the U.S. is number one as far as cases. So
It's the only thing the U.S. is number one in.
Yeah, a whole bunch of other things.
Ain't education.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like we gotta, with the time that we have with each other, you know what I mean. You gotta like make memories and live life, and live a great life, and do what we need to do, man. Because this pandemic, this shit is real. This shit is serious. So, no joke.
Facts, bro. Facts, man. It's tough, especially like everybody's handling it differently. Like I said before, so it can be tough if you have a family member who may be who may test positive, and if you're a person who's very family oriented, which in this household we both kind of are. It makes it difficult. I know. Well, no, I don't want to get way too. I don't want to be talking about other people's business on here, but I'll just say this: like, even with the way things are going down now, the amount of time you got to quarantine goes from 14 to 10 days. I mean, not 14 to 10 days. I'm sorry, 10 to 5 days.
10 to
but
5,
it went from 14 to 10.
14 to 10 now, 10 to 5.
Right. And so, I was asking Nia the other day. I was like, all right, so what's the difference? Like, what's the level of comfortability? Because you're switching the time frames. When it first happened, it was 14 days. Now it's down to 5. Now it's like, oh well, I don't trust it. So if somebody was only quarantining for 8 days, a week ago, you was like, nah, I can't see you yet. Now this week, it's like, yo, I could have saw you 3 days ago. It's like, and people who are in quarantine, they can't wait to come out of quarantine. So if you got positive while it was still 10, and then he changed it to 5, but you ain't served your full 10. Hey, I'm folks ready to pop off.
Yeah,
it don't matter. It's like they just got their jail sentence reduced. Oh yeah, I got 5 days knocked off. Like I'm good to go. Well, yeah. And then it's like and then the quick reaction is to be like, no, I don't trust it. But why did you trust it at 10 days? Why did you trust it at 14 days? And see, this is what my argument has been from the beginning. You don't effing know. You don't know. Ain't nobody ever knew. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I was sure is that the virus was spreading, and it wasn't the unvaccinated's fault.
I'll take them as many days away from a person that's positive as possible. That's why I trust it from that.
All right, so wait, so then wait 14, wait 15.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? How long do you wait? How long do you wait for somebody who lives in your household? You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of questions.
Yeah,
somebody who don't live in your household, be like, yo, I don't have to see you till next month or ever.
Well, if you work with somebody, and you got to go into an office or somewhere, like, it would, to me, the reduction in this thing is, I think it's bullshit. It was just a political thing. It's clear that it's coming out that one of the guys from the CEOs from one of the airlines asked the CDC to reduce it. This is
Yeah,
all
come on.
based off of getting people to work. I've seen, videos from nurses who have tested positive, and they're saying the 5 days isn't enough. And they feel like it's putting their own health in jeopardy and in their patients, because they feel like in 5 days, some people don't feel like themselves or aren't symptom free until those 10 to 14 days.
When
So
this started, it was the 14 days, right? And
mhm.
they've narrowed it down to 5. I
In
think
the
it is
middle of the time where it's like
Was
exploding.
booming, right?
right.
Right.
I do think that things can be extremely challenging if it's people in your home. Look, if someone has it, friend or family, friend or if a friend or family had it, like 14 days, you ain't coming around me for a month, and it's been that way from Jump Street. And if it happened to be and if someone gets sick, it's like, just because the CDC says 5 days doesn't mean you shouldn't take 2 weeks and get tested as often as you're allowed to get tested to make sure and get healthy. And if you, even at the end of those 2 weeks, if your body's still weak, which it could very well be, take the time that you need. Just because they say 5 days doesn't mean you need to run back out to the general population. And that's the lack of personal accountability. That's what it is.
They're actually telling people not to get tested. Once once you've tested positive,
they telling you don't because you can still test positive up to 3 months.
They say just wait. Well, they were saying just wait the 10 days. Now it's 5.
No, but
Just
even
wait
then, even with the 10 days, they tell you, they telling people, even most of the time they're telling you, even if you're positive, if you've tested positive, that you going to get another test after the 10, 14 days, even up to 3 months, they say is a waste of time, because
Well, it's
you can still test positive.
But here's my thing. Is it really? Why is it really a waste of time? Here's the reason why. Because you can still have remnants
Yeah, you still
of
can
the
test
damn
positive.
thing in your bloodstream. They just say it's not enough for it to be contagious.
Yeah. So I mean,
But
in the situation in my household, right? Misha had it. She quarantined for 10 days. After the 10 days, just for her own comfort, she wanted to go and get a test. And not only did people that she knows personally tell her, it's a waste of time, even the people that were administering the test told her, like, listen, we're going to do it because you want to. But they said, you're likely to test positive again. And
the
she did.
guidelines say don't.
Yeah.
The guidelines say that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're definitely going to tell you now with it being 5 days. My issue with the 5 days, the 5-day thing is strictly based off of the workplace.
It's just trying to get people back to
Yeah.
work.
I don't trust it from that. It's clearly you trying to get people back to work. And then the next step is going to be, because these schools are being ravished by kids in quarantine. You got 4,000 or 5,000 kids in quarantine at a time. To lower that, they're gonna abide by this 5-day thing, and they're gonna, so that kids can be back in school a lot quicker than it was for being off for 10 days. It's clearly a bullshit. That's why I don't trust it. And like you said, you don't go from 14 days to start with. Now, you know what I mean, your ass is down to 5. You know what I mean? Like, that's bogus for me. But I mean, in your household, again, that's up to your personal discretion and how you carry it, right? But again, the workplace situation with this 5-day thing is bullshit. And I don't trust it. I think more people are going to be sick by it, and then you're going to have people coming back to work who aren't fully healthy, and then that might turn into some other thing, people dying. Unfortunately, hopefully that's not the case. But if you're not fully heal from this, and you're not gonna be in 5 days. You're not. Everybody that I've known that has it, that has had it, that has had symptoms, weren't clear of symptoms in 5 days or feeling any better in 5 days. Maybe 7, they felt better, but not 5. So that's what we
But
had to work
you know
out
what the
from the
thing.
quickly.
But who was the, people weren't following this shit anyway, man. Who's waiting at your house to make sure that you quarantine?
That's the
I mean,
point I
Nobody.
was making.
And you said it's up to your discretion how you run your household. But that's the problem.
right, and
That's the
yeah,
problem.
I agree with you. That's what Alex was saying. That's when it comes down to your personal accountability.
I mean,
Everybody got to play their part.
how many people do you think were in the house was like, man, I feel fine, fuck this shit. I'm going to this.
Yeah, a ton. And
Or I'm going over there. I'm just not gonna say that.
yeah, not to right, and that's
People grimy. They're dirty.
again, yeah, that's the
They
big
will they
thing.
will sit in their office and scratch their genitalia and then shake your head. They're not gonna tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I say about not to give too much, right? But I say this all the time about the workplace, especially where I am employed, You they make it so hard for people with COVID, you know, to get paid, right? That if like there's so many parameters. Oh, did you get it outside of work? Oh, well, then we can't pay you if you got it outside of work. But if you got it from a situation at work, then we're going to pay you. But then you
Well,
got to prove it.
Well, you gotta
if
use
you
your
have
time now.
right,
Then
you have
you got
sick time or vacation time. You're talking about
right.
if you go above and beyond, if it's longer than that.
So no. So then hear me out. So if you get COVID from work, right? They'll pay you. They'll pay you to be off for what the quarantine period was 10 days. They haven't switched over to the 5 yet, but I'm sure that's coming. But the 10 days, they'll put you on administrative leave, paid administrative leave, you get paid. Now, if you get it from work, outside of work, they're not going to pay you. You then have to use your own leave. The problem is people's leave is running thin worldwide, all jobs, period, unless you will get to work from home because if you're sick, if you got any of the sniffles or whatever, they're telling you to stay home. If you got children and they sick, you got to stay home. So people's burning their leave, not for leisure, but to take care of sick motherfuckers or they not feeling well themselves. So then when it gets to a point where, okay, unfortunately, you might come down with this, right? Or they may put you in quarantine because you were a close contact. You have to burn your time. So then if you got some people who will now you looking at if am I going to get a check or not? That's going to say, hey, I feel fine. I'm going to work. Yeah, I tested positive. I ain't telling them. I
And
feel
that
all
ain't
right,
right. It ain't
and
right.
and it's wrong, and it is wrong from on
I'll
all
keep
of
my
it.
mask on and I'll stay away from people. That's
Right,
probably what they
but
tell themselves.
yeah, but I mean, when you put people in a situation where they got to choose between getting a check and paying their bills, or me being home and just saying fuck it, I'm just you put my back against the wall, but you know what? I'm gonna do the right thing. I tell my employer all the time, oh, y'all got to come up with a better system. Now,
See,
will people beat the system? Yes. You're gonna have a few people that's gonna say they're gonna beat the system and find a way to get paid for them 10 days to be off, and they really ain't nothing wrong with them, of course. But you take the chance on getting beat by that handful of people rather than the people that you got to
I don't think it's a handful of people, Mike.
no, I mean, but I'm saying
these are unprecedented times. We have people who are willing and able to work who are not working.
right, but I'm saying like that you can find a way, right? Now I personally feel like this. If you come to work or you call me with a positive test, I don't want to see you. And yes, I would pay you. I don't care if you got it from outside or you got it at work.
Right.
So you can and you can make them prove that they are positive, right? Now you can find ways
What's
to
the
get around.
limitation to that? Because you might have a
this
month
is
to catch
simple.
COVID once a month.
Well, I mean, it is no limitation until you find out because especially in some places where it's mass people. Like I just said, you got some school systems with 5,000 people, kids,
Yeah.
and employees that are in quarantine at the same time, yo. Like that's a lot
right.
of people.
Okay. So before COVID, if you got sick or needed to miss time, you had your generally 5 days of sick time, however many weeks of vacation that you earned at your job, and then FMLA, which paid 60% of your salary. And after that, you was short, right? All right. So you still have all three of those things right now. The difference is that employers are saying, if you caught COVID here, we'll cover it. If you did not catch COVID here, you need to use the time that you've accrued or your sick time. And after that, you just ain't getting paid until you get healthy again. And I look, man, like, not to sound elitist, but like, yo,
It's the
if you
second
got
it's the second episode in a row. You ain't want to sound elitist.
hey, bro, I don't want to sound elitist, man. But like, your employer, it's hard to track where people get COVID from these days. And if you caught it from your job, your job should pay you. If it takes you years to get healthy, your job should pay you all those years because you caught it on the job. Jobs now really don't know if you out there chilling or not, if you're really protecting yourself. They don't. So beyond the normal sick time, so if they can't determine if it was caught at the job or away from the job, beyond your normal sick time, beyond your vacation time, and beyond FMLA, like, it is not your job's responsibility to pay you because you caught COVID because you was out there chilling. It ain't. It just is not.
It's not.
And you should. And if just because the CDC says 5 days instead of 14 days, if you ain't right, you shouldn't be going back to work because you need to pay your light bill. I'm sorry, man. Like, that's crazy to me because all you end up doing is getting somebody else sick and putting them in a bad situation.
The CDC is supposed to be our source of truth.
But the CDC is simply a guideline.
Yes.
They don't make any laws. They are a guideline. So if the guideline is 5 days, you can still do 14.
That's my problem with employers. Again, not to give too much, but when I'm bumping shoulders with these people, their first go-to line is, the CDC. No. The CDC is a guideline. Now you can follow these guidelines, but that don't mean that you can't go above that guideline.
And it's only a guideline because the politicians are afraid to actually do something because of the votes. Because if they really mandated stuff, then it would be an uprising and people don't want to follow directions and it's this and that. They're afraid to get voted out of office.
Well, they're trying to keep the economy going. I mean, we're dealing with massive inflation.
You know what I would say?
We're dealing with a lot of there's a lot of economic indicators that indicate that we're not at optimal levels.
I feel like Brandon played my role this episode of
Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate.
Listen,
I'm telling the truth. That's what's going on right now. And so because of that, a lot of what goes into this decision making, it's political and economical. Yo, we gotta keep the ball rolling. At least that's the story they're gonna tell you.
If you know the story about that and the thing about that, if they're playing it from that perspective, from politics and an economic standpoint,
they always
but to play with people's lives like that, they have never given a good. Okay, I'm sorry. But that's what I'm saying. But
let me ask you,
that's dark and that's sinister. To play with people's lives like that, for the mere fact that they're standing on it from an economic standpoint.
They're not. That's all lies. No, it's all lies. All right. Let me listen.
Listen.
You said they want to get people back to work.
Hold on.
So for some reason, they are doing
it for the economics.
The economics does play a factor.
Let me cut in.
Listen.
Let me cut in real quick, Alex. Be sure of what you about to say. You're able to say.
I can say.
I know how you do when the whiskey
get
the flow. All of us in that regard.
Yeah, I'm talking about it from the economic standpoint. I'm
strictly on the numbers. Inflation has been about 2.5% for the last 30 years. I know because I talk about it with clients every day. 2.5% for the last 30 years. Do I believe that they're trying to force people back to work? Of course I do. I really do. I fundamentally believe that personally. Do I think that they're trying to force people back to work to spend more money? That's horseshit. Like, if they were so concerned about how much money people had to spend, then minimum wage would have kept up with inflation.
I'm saying they want to get people back to work so that people can generate money for them.
People are gonna.
They want the people to generate the money, and then they want them to spend it too. But
the funny part about America, even if you ain't got 2 nickels, you're going to spend 25 cents. That is America. It don't matter how much you got. Americans are going to overspend. If they're poor, they're going to overspend. If they're rich, they're going to overspend. People don't need to go back to work to spend money for the economy because people keep spending. We have Amazon now. It ain't like the old days when we were growing up. We had to go out and get stuff. Amazon delivers around the clock.
Right. They got to keep well. I guess Listen, I guess theoretically, they got to keep. No, really, some of these small businesses are struggling, and sure, they need to, stay open in order just to survive. And a lot of these small businesses are already closed. They're not open, as long as they used to be. So, these are jobs too. But listen, this is why I feel the way I do about a lot of this stuff. Anything that comes out in a newspaper, man, is politicized. You've taken a very serious topic and you put politics all around it. So now the lines are blurred between what's fact and what they're trying to, and whatever agenda that some politician is pushing. And so vaccinations fits into that, testing fits into that, masks fits into that. Anything, it's all like that. So I don't know.
This isn't the first time. This isn't the first time the country's dealt with either a pandemic or something just unprecedented. It happens all the time, more often than people give credit for. And I was actually saying this earlier to my wife. It was either World War I or World War II. So, do you all know why M&Ms have their shell on them?
No.
Let me enlighten you. The reason why M&Ms the reason why M&Ms have their shell, so it was either World War I or World War II. They had to come up with ways to get quick food to soldiers back then. M&Ms was making chocolate, but you couldn't ship chocolate to Germany because it would have melted by then. So how can you keep it unmelted and store it for weeks at a time while these guys are out at war? They figured out a way to put a candy-coated shell on it. It went to war, blew up beyond the war, and then here we are years later eating M&Ms, right?
The peanut butter joints be banging.
Yeah, some popcorn in the movie theater.
The brownie joints. But I digress. They switched business models because there was a world war going on, unprecedented thing going on. And I think the same thing could be said now. I know there are a number of small businesses that have done other things. I bring this up because I got an email today from Ivy City in DC. They're having a New Year's Eve celebration. The year before the pandemic, that's where I celebrated New Year's Eve. And I thought to myself, wow, coronavirus is going back up and this place is going to have a New Year's Eve party, right? Like it's going to be a super spreader in DC. And I said, so here's this 2 or 3 story restaurant. Rather than throw a New Year's Eve party because you have to keep doors open and all those things, what if they use that space and, I don't know, hired people or see what employees knew how to sew and they produce masks? Or what? What if they just change business models? Right. What if they just change their business model during this 2 or 3 year period? What about that? There are some other options. To which my wife said, well, why don't you do something like that? To which I said, well, that's not what I'm in the business to do. But the point is, we've gotten so off topic. I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah, we did. We did. But I do want to say, because we
make sure your mentals is right.
Right. I do want to wheel this back in, but I do want to say, since we brought up Amazon, to the Amazon driver in my neighborhood, if you're listening, stop driving that truck like a damn Hellcat around here. Yeah. That shit ain't no 5-speed, dog.
Yeah, I think they be telling Mugs, if you deliver these packages by this time, you get a double bonus or something, because Mothers be peeling around here too, or they just want to go home, man.
I know the FedEx man be bumping Shabba ranks every time he comes through here. Every time.
That would be me.
But I digress. But I do, to get the wheelers back on, and then we could close this thing out.
Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B, as you say. So, just a quick synopsis, I guess, on the last year, man, and some of the trials and tribulations, that you've dealt with that may have affected your mental health, and some of the good things that wheeled you back in, and maybe give give the listeners a couple things that that have helped you get your mentals back where they need to be, so that maybe we can help somebody by just listening to this. So, who want to go first with that?
Sure. Okay, what were the three things?
So, some of the things that affected your mental well being throughout this year.
I would say, okay, stop. I would say family members testing positive for COVID.
Okay.
People close to me testing, especially when all the unknowns and when fear is running rampant. Dealing with that, it made me anxious. Because you just don't know. But I tell Neil all the time, you worried about things that you can't control. So that's an exercise that I have to consciously practice, not worrying about things I can't control in situations like that. But yeah, family members coming up positive. That's just stressful, man.
So let's just keep it at one question at a time. We'll rapid fire it. So, Battle, what about you, bro? Like, same question that I asked B. What at this year, what were some of the things that affected your mental well being?
Oh, okay, there we go. What, in a good way or not so good way?
Not so good.
Okay, so not so good way. Having to deal with two family members of mine, well, three family members of mine that passed, that are very influential in my life, from the time that I was little to now. One not seeing it, another one kind of having the foresight of it and knowing, but then it just kind of just happened quick. So those two, I'm sorry, and just family members within itself. Like I said, I had to deal with three family members passing, and so that was very hard. That was really hard. And so I mean, I'm a lot better now, but day by day, it's been it's been a struggle to get back to where I need to be. But ultimately, yeah, man, I'm doing a lot better. I'm good. So that's one thing that wasn't so good, and I've had to persevere through.
All right. What about you, Alex? What are some things that kind of affected your mental well being in a negative light throughout this year?
I think death, man. Pandemic was 11 months after my mother died. And seeing all these people die, not knowing how sick someone could get, me not wanting to get sick or my wife to get sick, like death, man. It put his, I pulled back from a lot, and it took its toll on me. So I'd say that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd say, just, I mean, outside of the obvious and the things that you guys mentioned, but for my son, like the fear of that, with this. I mean, I tease the situation and calling him a COVID generation baby, and but like I often think about how or what type of effect this will have on him as he gets older, because just things as simple as like him not really experiencing a real birthday. You know what I mean? Like his first birthday was dead. Is in April, so that was in the beginning of this shit. The following year we did a little something slight, but it was never, he hasn't experienced the drag out like birthday party. You know what I mean? And so that my son has a little bit of a heart issue, so the fear of um him, God forbid, coming down with COVID or something, and it affecting him in one way or another. So I would say the fear and the unknown, like you said, Brandon. Um, and then for my own self, like I haven't. My wedding was canceled due to this shit. I haven't really had a real birthday party in the last couple of years myself, because my birthday is in March. So we all know this really kicked off in March. I'll be 40 coming up. And I thought that I was probably gonna get to be able to have a shebang, but it's not looking good for me to have one this year. So, yeah, I would say those things. So, back to you, Brandon. Quickly, how did you push through those things? What are some of the things, or some of the I guess coping mechanisms, or some of the things you use to get yourself and your mentals back on track the way that you need them to be?
Well, the only things I'm willing to share on here. So, um, seriously though, exercise, meditation, like walks. Walks help me out a lot, not just my mental, but I mean not just physically, but also mentally. Um, taking laps around Montebello, which is like a mile and some change each lap around the lake. You know, especially when the weather was warm, it helps. It helps to clear your mind. Like you get that time to kind of like think things through. And like I said, I have my own like mental exercises, and as far as like coaching myself not to worry about things that I can't control, and the things that I can control, do something about it. If you ain't gonna do nothing about it, then obviously you didn't care too much about it. But yeah, um, so exercising, this podcasting, anytime we do episodes, it's really like a chance for us to get, for me, it's also a chance to get together and kind of talk about things. That's why we built this platform to talk about things that are important to us. And when we do get together, I feel like we do that, and that definitely soothes. So I'll stay with those two things.
Battle. We know y'all brother, so we've seen you go through the things that you mentioned before. We've seen how it affected you. Um, so what are some of the things that you did to push through or to cope with those situations that you went through? Yeah, Yam, you on mute.
My bad. Yeah. So man, I did a working out. Church helped out a lot. Um, yeah, man, church. Listening to positive, inspirational things, man. Honestly, I'll be honest, I did some crying. There was a lot of crying that I did. A lot of shedding tears. Times when I was by myself. I took walks, and I actually was able to give myself certain times where I wasn't okay, and I was able to express that, and I was able to be like, yo, I'm I wasn't in not in a good place. So I did a lot of that, man. Got a lot of searching, who I am, and what I want to be, who I want to be, where I want to be at in life. Like I said, church, man. Church really helped me out a lot. Having a beautiful support system, man. You guys, having like I said, parents, man, and family members, and a good woman behind me, man. Good support system. to just praying for me and me praying for myself. And it wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? So um, just doing those things, man. Like I said, and just working out, staying fit, trying to stay fit at least. What else did I do? And just around good people. You know what I'm saying? That was uplifting me. And I mean, that's what I've been doing. And like I said, um, family members was like really big for me. Being able to like to talk with family that I haven't talked with, spoke with in a while, friends that I haven't spoke with in a while. Um, like I said, man, all you guys podcasting that helped out a lot. Being able to, think about something totally different. Football coaching, it was a lot, man. Did a lot. Traveled, went to New Orleans, got a chance to hang out with my pops and brothers and stuff, man. So it was just things that I need to do just to kind of get back to myself and everything. Um, and that just took that time.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I
mean,
did.
I feel you. What about you, Alex?
I would actually say like thinking about the future. I didn't think a lot about the future in 2020, but in 2021 I've thought more about it. And the pandemic pushed a lot of my personal plans back. But this year I've been able to refocus about like what I'm working towards professionally, within my relationship, mentally and spiritually. And so getting a hold on my future. The world might be a shit show for the next decade, but I'll be damned if I let it throw off my plans more than it already has these last 2 years. So that's helped me out a lot.
Word, I like that. I'm a still that one. I'm a still one of those. I did some refocusing myself, and I'm a still one of yours, Brandon. Um, focusing on focusing on the things that I can control. You know what I mean? And um, and with that, it came cleansing um myself from some situations that I needed to, just to get my own mental um back intact so I can focus on being the best father, the best husband, the best Mike I can be. So sometimes it takes that. And so I was able to do that. I was able to do realize that those things were needed um in 2021. So I plan on going into 2022. Um Still focused out, still got some things that I want to get together, some things I need to get together, and I will. But I agree, and I like what you said, Alex. Like, I'd be damned if I let this shit show ruin what I got going on or what I got planned going forward. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So yo, we went a little longer than I thought we would, but I think this was a good show. I think people, the listeners, like to hear us talk on stuff like that, especially for black men. Um, you know, opening up about mental health and where they are and where they want to be, and that's what we did. So in closing, man, B, what you got for the people, man? Any advice to people that listening that may be struggling with some things and uh, going through some things that's trying on their mentals? Any advice for them?
Uh, when you're ready, communicate. A lot of times it's. I think a lot of times it's like you versus yourself. You know what I'm saying? You versus your own mind. I feel like sometimes you have a good support system like Quan mentioned, but you don't even notice it because you're too busy focusing on the negative. So you know what I'm saying? When people reach out to help you, that you know, it's not bad to take help sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go through it by yourself. Put your mask on and stay distant.
Word, Quan, unmute yourself this time, buddy. Uh, any advice, man, for the listeners that one listener that might be going through tough times, man, but they leaning on you to help them get through. That voice, your voice. What you got for them?
Keep your mask on. Wash your hands and protect your neck. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, man, and make sure
It's always good.
it is real, man. You know, you gotta if you can open your eyes and see, man, and not be so much into the the hoopla, man. You can see that you got a great support system. You just got to be able to open your eyes and see it, man. You know, as long as you got them folks, you got, you know, like I was saying earlier, man. You know, you got family, friends, you got a good woman behind you, man. You know, you can do anything. You can go places that we never thought you could imagine. But it starts with you though. So um
It's
yeah,
always
get
good.
masked up,
It's always
protect
good
your neck.
advice to wash your ass. That's always good advice. That's
Yeah.
sound advice.
Watch that
Alex,
deal.
what you got, man? What you got for any advice? Now, listen, man. You know, I'm about to give you flowers real quick in this podcast game. You stepped out. You stepped back a little bit. We stepped back. You stepped back with your other endeavors, but you one of the OGs in this game. I tend to get that tag for some reason. People don't realize. You know what I was thinking the other day, real quick. Like, you know, people tend to give me shout outs and my flowers, and I'm sitting there thinking like, yo, Alex really taught me everything I know about this game. For everything I know now, for the popularity that I've gained in the community, for the things that I'm doing um, within this community. But you know, you told me everything I know, man. So shout out to you for that. But um, I said that to say that your voice carries weight, especially amongst our listeners. Like you that one that they can't really figure out. So you know, I think they all feel like they know me, Brandon, Quan, pretty well who we are. But Alex is that one that's like he keep it coy all the time. So what do you got for that one person, man? That's struggling with something right now, but they hearing you right now. What's that advice you got?
One, I appreciate your kind words, Mike. Uh, Look, I get the help that you need, and by that help, I mean, you know, licensed, trained, educated therapist. Let your family know if you're going through something, or let someone that you know you trust let them know you're going through something. Um, you know, I'm not in a position to give anybody any advice on how they should be handling their own mental health, except just get the help that you need as the pandemic goes. Try your best to stay safe. Um, and that's it. I mean, this has lasted longer than most people would have thought. It seems like it's going to keep going for a while longer. We'll get through it at some point. So that's really all I got.
Word. And I'll say to piggyback what my brothers have said, man, be willing to talk, especially for the fellas out here, man. Especially this is for all fellas, but especially black men. Be willing to talk, man. We go through a lot of shit too, and we are taught to bottle that shit up, keep it in, and typically what happens in that situation is that the fucking bottle overflows or it explodes, and then at that point it's too late. So use Alex's advice. Go get some licensed help. You know, use Quan's advice. Wash your ass in the process. Use Brandon's advice, and know yourself and fight through these things, and be willing to talk when you're ready to talk. But don't wait till it's too late. And I'll add on top of that, get out of some of these toxic situations that you may be in, man. That shit ain't healthy for nobody. None of us. You or the person that's in it as well, alongside you being toxic. That shit ain't healthy for them. So sometimes you got to step back. So be willing to do that. Um, and that's it, man.
And don't post about it on social media. Just do it.
And stay off of social media sometimes. People
I don't
need
know. We
breaks, man.
don't. I'm cutting people off in 2020. Okay, just do it. Just
Right.
do it.
Just make it.
Just
Just
do
make
it.
the shit happen. Just make the shit happen.
Yeah, that's
I
another thing with that. Staying away from social media. Just taking the hiatus from it. Just
but I wanna. Before we close out, I want to say one thing, Quan. Yo, appreciate you for pushing through this, man. I know you're not feeling well, so all the listeners, you hear this, wish Quan some well wishes, some give him the help, get healthy juju, send him a tea, a hot toddy, or Yeah, something.
And a new T-shirt. That one is terrible. What does that say on it? You got a stain on the front of your shirt.
Yo, chill, yeah.
It's in yellow.
Chill, yeah. My boo got this for me, yeah. Chill, yeah.
He gotta wear that. You know
That's
he gotta wear that. But yeah, Quan,
so
yo,
fresh too, yeah. Look at that thing fresh too. Look at that. I know the Giants know because we destroyed them.
A fresh pile of poop.
Here we go. Anyway, Quan, yo, feel better, man, and I appreciate you getting on here, pushing through that, and sharing what you got going on right now with our listeners. Hey, man, it's another episode. This is the last one for the new year. We'll see y'all next year. We out.
2022. Peace.
Peace.